The impact and cost of toxic and counterproductive behaviors that sabotage the military culture and values, such as incivility, sexual harassment, discrimination, and violence, are enormous and unacceptable. These behaviors not only harm the victims and witnesses, but also undermine the core values of the military, such as respect, honor, integrity, and selfless service. They also erode the trust, cohesion, and readiness of the military force, and damage its reputation and credibility. According to a report by the Fort Hood Independent Review Commission, which was commissioned by the Army Secretary following the murder of Army Spec Vanessa Guillen, there was a culture of disrespect and purposeful degradation of others at Fort Hood that was unimpeded and left unchecked by the leaders who had the responsibility to prevent it. The report also found that there was a pervasive lack of confidence in the sexual harassment/assault response and prevention (SHARP) program, which resulted in underreporting and retaliation against those who reported sexual misconduct. The Fort Hood report is not an isolated case. Across the Department of Defense (DoD), there have been numerous incidents and allegations of sexual misconduct involving senior leaders and subordinates. In Canada, a similar crisis has led to the resignation of several top military officials and a public outcry over the systemic failures to address sexual misconduct in the Canadian Armed Forces. The cost of these toxic behaviors is not only measured in human suffering, but also in monetary terms. A study by the Office of Force Resiliency estimated that the monetary cost to DoD could be upward of $4.7 billion, or 8% of the 2016 DoD budget, calculated by a model assessing the rate of personnel who experience toxicity and a cost per case. This cost includes medical care, legal representation, personnel replacement and training, lost man-hours due to leaders addressing toxic behavior, complaint investigations, absenteeism, decreased performance of targets and bystanders, avoidance of the toxic person, time spent job searching, and wasted resources. To prevent these behaviors and their consequences, DoD has introduced strategies and policies to address sexual assault as part of an integrated violence prevention framework. The framework aims to prevent all forms of harm and ensure an inclusive environment for all who serve. However, policies alone are not enough. As Elizabeth P. Van Winkle, the executive director of DoD's Office of Force Resiliency said anything we have put into place, or will put into place, will be ineffective if members of our military fail to proactively embody the values that we expect. Changing a command climate or culture requires the commitment of all members of a community. No one gets a pass. No one gets to decide they don't have a role to play. When you join the military, you are taking on a responsibility to uphold our values and to be a part of a team that rejects these behaviors. When you become a leader at any level, you take on a critical responsibility, both when it is easy and when it is not. Every time you fail to address misconduct, even the smallest offensive jokes and comments, someone is watching you, and trust is either gained or it is lost. And once it is lost, you will not easily recover it. The military is not only a workplace, but also a profession that demands the highest standards of ethics and conduct from its members. It is also a reflection of our society and its values. We cannot afford to let toxic behaviors tarnish our military culture and values. We owe it to ourselves, to our comrades, to our families, and to our nation to create a safe and respectful environment where everyone can thrive and contribute to our common mission.